Oof, what a stacked show this week. Germany's minimum wage saga reaches its disappointing denouement, Germany's voters begin to wonder what the SPD is actually for, and Germany's Retail Institute comes up with an all but useless report on shoplifting. Wahey! Meanwhile, a bold wood pigeon wants in on the mega sesh, and yes, wine and lemonade does indeed make an excellent summer drink. Salud!
In Berlin's heart, when news is unveiled, Megan and Conrad with German tales. The German news, it's tough to bear, but with mega cans, they're ready to head there. Conrad, daily news at hand. Megan feels to spare time to crack those cans. With each sip she takes, the mag is her shield, but will it last the news? 'Cause that was the deal.
Hello everyone, it's another episode of Megan's Megacan. I'm Megan, here in beautiful sunny Berlin with Conrad Werner. Hello Conrad.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. How's your day been?
Oh, a very easy day today, very relaxing. It wasn't too hot like it was 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was very hot 2 days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. But anyway, yeah, no, I had a very nice day. Just pottering around mostly.
Good for you.
What about your day? What did you do
Yeah,
today?
it was good. We had our Abitur ceremony today. We've got kids graduating.
Oh.
Some of them said to me at the end, they're like, we've listened to your podcast.
Oh.
Which I always find very embarrassing.
Oh, right.
But if any of them are listening, I think they also find it very boring.
Oh, did they?
It's just like millennials talking about, can you imagine anything worse if you're like 18?
Yeah.
If anyone's listening, hello, congratulations.
Oh, very good.
All right, let's have some alcohol.
Yes.
We're not actually technically having a mega can today.
No,
we're having
this does
some.
not fulfill the criteria.
But I felt like a little bit of a light drink, and this is also a gift from a listener and someone I also know IRL. This is from Michael.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Michael. And he actually gave us this ages ago, and I've been waiting for a day where I felt like drinking it, and now today is that day.
Today is
But I don't
time has
entirely
come.
understand what it is, so I'm going to grab the can.
Okay.
And we can look at it. Okay, first things first, it is Spanish.
Right.
It says something 1949, so that's good. La Casera. And it seems to be wine with lemon.
It's all in Spanish. It says
Well, this isn't in Spanish, hang on.
It says con vino tempranillo.
Yeah. Alcohol, hältiges, Kohlensäure, fizzy drink, mixed drink with 26% wine, lemon flavor, and sweeteners.
So it's wine with lemonade in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's 5%, but I'm not sure. Who can tell?
Who can tell?
I feel like the Spanish are always doing exciting things with wine.
Yeah,
Like putting Coke in them.
It's their Mediterranean temperament.
Yeah, it's great. Any place where they will sell you a beer for €1 out of a storm drain, like in Barcelona, I'm on board.
Okay. Cheers to
Cheers. Oh,
Spain,
God.
the country of Spain.
Try not to pour it over my... Ooh, yeah. It smells of wine.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I wouldn't.
I was
think.
a little worried, and that is
yeah.
really nice. It's not too sweet, and it's not...
Yeah, it's sounding like grape juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's excellent. I had to
Yeah.
admit, had some trepidation
I
about
was trepidatious.
lemonade and red wine, but
You see,
top marks.
They know what they're up to. They know what they're up to. Now I would like some patatas bravas. Oh, God.
Yeah,
I
some
love this-
calamari.
The Spanish for that. Like, the fact that you can go to Spain and basically, as an Irish person, have chips with garlic mayo and red sauce.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you feel so fancy when you're doing it because it's patatas bravas. And obviously it tastes different and it is delicious. But I'm still just like, that's a lot of fried food in a dish that I'm sharing with my pals. It's great.
Yeah. No,
As is this. Top marks.
top marks.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Spain, and thanks to your mate too.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. All right.
All right. Good.
Suppose we
Okay.
have to ruin the fun Mediterranean vibes now.
We have to complete the story from last week.
Oh, yes.
So last week we recorded on Thursday, and on Friday
Yeah.
they were going to announce the minimum wage. And when I say they, I mean there's something called the Minimum Wage Commission in Germany, which decides it. And it's basically 6 people, 3 of them represent the employers' associations and 3 represent the trade unions. And they decide together what the minimum wage is. And they said, drum roll, it would be $13.90 from the 1st of January 2026. And then $14.60 on the 1st of January 2027. Now, the context for this is that we were hoping for 15 euros by next year. And it's not even going to be 15 euros in 2 years' time. So, in fact, not only we can say we were hoping for it, but in fact, it was in the coalition contract agreed by the SPD and the CDU, where they said that 15 euros by 2026 should be reachable. Should be reachable. That was the wording they used in the coalition contract. And
should be reachable if you'd voted
and
for
a lot of
Die Linke.
So
it is possible. We're just not going to do it.
So it's very much a compromise, especially by the SPD to allow that. Because not only that, a lot of SPD types, politicians, said that if the Minimum Wage Commission did not increase it to 15 euros, they would enforce it by law. They would bring in a law, which they can do because they are lawmakers, because they're an elected parliament.
Yeah, because things like minimum wage and stuff like that, that's like SPD bread and butter.
So
because haven't they also gone back already on the promise to lower VAT on electricity for everyone, I think, as well this week, when they were just like, oh, we're not going to be able to give it to everyone. So you guys, like farmers and stuff, or like agriculture and stuff.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah. They may have they wanted to bring in sort of cut rates for big companies like or farms or something. I don't know. But you're possibly correct. I don't know. Anyway, so that didn't happen. So we didn't get 15 euros. No. And the SPD has gone very quiet about the idea of bringing in a law to enforce 15 euros. Yeah, and this Minimum Wage Commission, they gave a big press conference last Friday, and they were saying things like, oh, we can't allow politics. We know about this target of 15 euros, but we can't allow politics to mix in with these negotiations. They were like, they said we had long negotiations between the head of the trade unions and the head of the employers associations, and this is the compromise that we came to. And so we just have to accept it effectively. And as you can imagine, the CDU was very happy with this, and the SPD had to pretend that they agreed to it because they don't want to enforce the higher version. Yeah, but we gave all the context for that last week about how, cost of living has gone really high in the last few years, especially rents in Berlin went up by over 8% last year alone, all this other stuff. So, yeah, a bit of a disappointment for minimum wage.
Yeah, I'm also glad that it's not my job to sit on that commission. It is difficult because businesses are obviously squeezed at the moment or whatever. I'm not talking about your big businesses that are making more money than anyone needs to, but this is just why this system isn't particularly effective.
You mean capitalism?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be
this
argued.
Idea where we have such discrepancy between the rich and poor. I don't know. I'm going to have more of my delicious wine juice.
Perhaps not unrelated to that, the new polls came out yesterday. It's called the Deutschland Trend ARD poll. It's this sort of big master poll that comes out at the beginning of every month. Yeah, the SPD has lost the most ground out of all the parties since the election. So, actually since last year. So, CDU still in the lead with 30%. Second place, AfD 23%, and SPD 13%, which is 2 percentage points less than at this point last month. So it's not going very well for the SPD.
It's really not. I just don't really get.
I mean, 13% is. There was a time when they were sad because they got below 20%. And now they're down at 13%. And they had and their election result in February was their worst election result since 1887.
Maybe they're struggling with their messaging, whatever. But I also wonder if, I just don't know who would vote for the SPD now other than, historic SPD in really tough and weird times as we're currently living in. What do they...
What do they offer?
I think if you're the SPD and the CDU, the GroKo, which isn't really the GroKo anymore because the SPD aren't the bigger party, but like they represent this very status quo, middle of the road. And like I guess if you're a little bit more conservative, you vote CD. Like in the olden days when things were normal.
Yeah.
And SPD, you're like, oh no, I'm not conservative. I'm like a social democrat. But now people are like, well, either we need change and you're going to become more reactionary and go, oh, in this uncertainty, I need more conservatism. Or you're going to be like, well, fucking hell, this is not working. So we need to go like Greens or delete or something different. I don't know.
Well, one thing that the SPD voters used to stand for was peace. They were often considered the peace party. This was the party of the famous Ostpolitik during the Cold War. You might remember this is Willy Brandt, the SPD chancellor, in 1969. He introduced this, starting normalizing relations with the Soviet Union, and Olaf Scholz tried to kind of pick up on this, especially during the Ukraine war, when they were sort of saying that he was going to become the chancellor of making peace with Russia, and that is
In Ukraine, we're like,
Well, that's very much gone out of the window anyway, because their most popular politician now is Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, who still, by the way, remains the most popular politician in Germany, and he's very much like, we have to get Germany war ready. He keeps saying this Kriegsbereit thing, and Friedrich Merz is echoing that too. And he says we want to make sure Germany has the strongest army in Europe. You heard him say that, which is...
I don't like any of this, but it's...
yeah. So anyway, so even those... I think what I'm trying to say is that even those traditional SPD voters who can remember that Willy Brandt time, they will also not be voting for the SPD, not supporting the SPD anymore, because it doesn't have that tradition anymore. It's broken with that tradition of making peace. So yeah, now the stuff like this minimum wage thing, where they kind of just accepted what's happening, and Lars Klingbeil, who is not only the co-leader of the SPD but also our finance minister, he's put in his new budget, and it's very much we're going to save on this and that. He's sounding a lot like Christian Lindner. So it's like he's bringing this sort of austerity budget in. He's trying to be fair to him, he's also trying to say, I'm going to be the investment minister and not just a schwarze Null, black zero thing.
Anyway. Fair enough.
So that's sort of the general political situation right now. Would you like to hear some opinions of German people?
Yes.
So, on the issue of national service, should they reintroduce national service?
Oh, yeah.
73% of Germans think that Germany definitely needs more soldiers. More than half want to see a reintroduction of national service, although that goes down if the people are below 35, as you could imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
And other opinions. What are the most important issues in Germany at the moment? The 33%, the highest, was immigration and refugees. Second was the economy, 21%, and third was social injustice at 16%.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was something else.
Okay. We've tied up a little bow on the minimum wage. Pity it's not gone up.
Yeah, although it's not gone up by very much. Well, not as much as
it has gone up, but not...
I wanted to talk about shoplifting.
Okay.
So, some interesting facts about shoplifting, because the German Retail Institute has come out with its yearly study on what it calls inventory differences in German retail. And this is the only thing close to any kind of scholarly study that anyone does onto shoplifting, and it's not really about shoplifting. It's about how many products retailers lose. So I should include, there's quite a lot of caveats to include here, but they have decided that, not decided, they have extrapolated from their study that some shoplifting has gone up in Germany. Yeah,
if prices are really high. Yeah. Minimum wage is stagnating.
Yeah, so they reckon that their inventory losses of 4.95 billion euros, which is an increase of 495 million.
Okay.
Anyway, something like that. Anyway.
Those are complicated figures.
But they admit in the study that they are extrapolating from only 2% of cases of shoplifting that are caught. And they've decided that of all the causes of inventory differences, as they call them, 60% of them are from the customers. And they've said...
That seems...
So I talked to this fellow who was from the EHI, which is the Retail Institute, the Einzelhandel Institute, and he was saying that we have also noticed an increase in organized shoplifting. Which means either individual thieves go in with a shopping list. They have actually, and they order. Someone orders certain products from them, and they go and nick stuff. Or it could mean coordinated groups of thieves in a big shop who put all this stuff together. And they said that they found this, and there's an increase in this, and they come up with this thing every year. And then I spoke to a criminologist. Who basically told me, because these are the figures, and this was the headlines. Germany sees a surge in shoplifting cases. But then I talked to this criminologist from Cologne University, and she said this study is basically useless. Yeah,
didn't they have a big moral panic in the States recently about shoplifting? And it was basically just garbage data. It's impossible. Dear God, that's a very good-looking pigeon that's just landed on your balcony. Sorry, I think it's more like a dove.
That's a pigeon.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, hello. Hey, Paul.
He's going to have a drink.
You want to come in? He's like, I hear you're talking about shoplifting.
That was a massive crow there.
That was a big crow. Sorry. Maybe we could also do bird watching. Why don't we just drink cans and sit on your balcony and watch birds? Sorry. So this criminologist says this study is, or this information, the data.
Essentially because even the study admits that 98% of shoplifting cases they don't even know about. So what they're extrapolating from is the 2% that they do catch. But they do say that there is an increase, and it's based on a survey of 98 companies. And they are major companies who have lots and lots of different shops, so it's quite a big survey. But obviously, in those cases, it's the shops themselves are reporting what they think, and they maybe, for example, underestimating the amount of theft that goes on within the company or from deliverers, and so or through their own organisation or whatever. But anyway, but what's kind of interesting about all this is that. Shoplifting is considered a poverty crime, and that is defined by this criminologist I spoke to as a crime that requires very little money to commit or no money to commit, and is usually carried out by someone who has no money. Yeah. Whereas other kinds of crime, cost money to commit. And,
that's interesting. Yes, that's why so many. It's quite a teenage thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Another type of crime that is the classic poverty crime is riding without a ticket, what's known in Germany as Schwarzfahren.
Yeah, I have a feeling I've been doing that today by accident.
So riding public transport without a ticket.
Yeah, again, poverty crime is a very strange phrase. And I think if someone is having to commit crime out of poverty reasons, should it be a crime? We don't know.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because a lot of criminologists, including the one that I spoke to, says that it shouldn't. In fact, that it should not be, and that for example, riding public transport without a ticket should not be a crime. It should be, if anything, a misdemeanor, and maybe it should be removed from the books altogether. And in fact, the last government under Olaf Scholz was going to do this, but they kind of never got around to it. Yeah.
And then their shitty little weasel of a finance minister brought the government down. So here we all are getting fined on the fucking U-Bahn. Yeah. Thanks, Christian. When was the last time you were in a fucking bus, you twat?
So
sorry.
And what happens if you can't pay the fine? Well, so the public transport operators, they have the little sign up saying you have to pay a special fee. Mm-hmm. So that is not a criminal fine. Okay. That is something that the public transport company is charging you for riding without a ticket. Okay. You know when it says like 60 euros?
Oh, yeah.
That's just the company imposing a private fine on someone using their services without a ticket, right?
Yeah.
But what they can also do, is press charges and take you to court.
Yeah.
Which sometimes happens. And in fact, like repeat offenders, whatever, a lot of people do this. And if you can't pay the fine that the judge imposes on you, or if you don't want to pay the fine, you can go to prison.
I've heard this. Yeah. I've heard that like Plötzensee has got people in there for like not paying. This is insane.
Yeah.
So we put them in there for no reason. Maybe you're already dealing with vulnerable people. Like someone who's able to, like, these are not people with a lot of, I don't want to generalize, but like agency. Like if you can't cobble together a fine to pay an U-Bahn ticket, I don't think people are in there as like political prisoners who's making a point against the BVG. No. So you're going to go put them into prison. We know that that's not good in terms of getting people away from life of crime or difficult situations. And then we, the state, presumably have to pay way more than their fine to keep them in the prison.
Yeah, not to mention the costs of the whole
and then they're going to not
court and everything. Yeah,
be able to have any work. It's going to be much more difficult for these people. Why? Like, I'm just a woman with a can of wine who wants to eat patatas bravas. Like, what? This is not, like, obviously these aren't my ideas. I've just picked these up from other fucking podcasters. What's going on?
So
why does nobody know anything? I just fucking hell. Like, exactly. It's so fucking dumb.
Exactly. So in Germany, according to this criminologist I spoke to, there are about between 8,000 and 9,000 people in prison, are sent to prison every year for not paying for a ticket on the U-Bahn.
No, that's absolutely not possible.
Yeah, because they can't pay the fine. And there are other crimes, that so-called crimes, that you can go to prison for if you don't pay the fine. For example, if you don't pay your debts, if you're in so much debt that you can't pay for it, the police can come and put you in prison.
Like debtor's prison. This is insane.
If the people press charges. And they're allowed to press charges if these, the public transport operators or the people you owe money to.
So they don't get their money. They get revenge. What are we doing here? What's going on? What? Oh dear God.
And these criminologists that I spoke to, and this is a debate, and this has been a political debate for many years, that they think that shoplifting should also be decriminalized for this very reason. This is all really obvious for you, but it's not obvious for the German people and politicians. But yeah,
they're like, oh, we don't want to cut.
Yeah,
we got to cut this, cut that. Let all those people out of prison. We should save some costs there. Oh, wow. Okay.
So the argument against it would probably be, if you decriminalize stealing, then everyone would steal stuff.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Yes, because we don't do things because we think we're going to get caught. We do things because we want to, or we're in such desperation, whether that's like anger or whatever. I'm not going to start shoplift. Like, I can't even ride without a ticket for a couple of stops. I get so anxious and I start sweating. Like, I am not going to, if they decriminalize it, I just don't want to have the conversation with the person on the Bahnsteig being like, oh, what's your address? And then I always cry like an idiot. I always burst into tears. I don't think I'm going to start being like, oh, well, I'm just going to go and rob my groceries.
Yeah. So according to studies, the reason why people stick to rules is not because they're scared of being punished. No. It's because they think the rules are correct, and because they fear having a bad conscience.
Also,
like you.
This is Germany. If you tell people this is the expectation, like, they will follow it.
Yeah.
Often bad places. But like, this is not, I mean, you legalize Ireland is a different matter. That's why I don't think you should necessarily be able to drink everywhere in Ireland the way you can in Germany. But yeah, it'll be fine.
But the larger point that I was trying to make is that poverty is effectively criminalized in Germany by these rules, and which brings us onto begging bans.
No, fucking hell! What?
So the city of Bremen has banned what it calls aggressive begging, which effectively means asking someone for money.
Oh, you can like sit on the side with a little pot.
Yeah.
But don't look just tug your forelock as the men in their frock coats walk past.
Yeah.
Don't look them in the eyes, the real people. Fucking hell.
Yeah, and in Hamburg as well, it is the public transport operator has banned all begging on buses and U-Bahns, and now there's a court case going on there because begging is protected by German law. You are
because apparently we're all just working under Victorian penal codes here.
Yeah, so there's a court case going on now between the Straßenmagazin, so the equivalent of the Mots that they've got there is it's called Hinz und Kunst, and it's taken the Hamburger Verkehrsverbund to court over its begging ban.
It's just fucking disgusting. Like, are they doing anything else then? It's like, oh, we're going to ban it here, but we're offering, food on our... Like, just... Can we all just stop being so gross? Also, Bremen, Hamburg, you're Hanseatic League. You're all dripping in money in a way that we are not. Don't come at me, Hansestädte. I don't want to hear it. That is fucking money built on the back of dirty trade, slavery, and now you turn around and you're like, oh, we don't want people asking us for money. Fuck off. I'm not saying that there's like everyone in Hamburg and Bremen is rich, but like compared to Berlin, when you go there, you're like, wow, this is fucking clean. Yeah.
No, they're nice cities.
They're lovely. They're great. You should absolutely go. Give your money to some people on the U-Bahn. They're in dire need. But yeah, but like this is just this is draconian. This is criminalizing people for being poor, and it's absolutely gross that they're like, oh, but why can't you get a job? And as we discussed last week, even the 10%, like people that still need these additional benefits in addition to working, 10% of them are working full time.
Yeah.
So like what? And we have just like the richest people in government, like Friedrich Merz, who's just a little I just can't, like, it's just all so dumb. And like we just had this stupid bill in the US, which I'm not even going to mention by name because it makes me feel sick, which is going to strip, we're all just about millionaires and being weird about Iran, and just no one has any sense. And I'm going to move to Spain and just drink this all the time and have my tapas. What's Spain's politics like? They all right? I don't really know very much about Spanish politics.
I don't know.
Spanish listeners, are they cool? Can we go?
Do write in.
Yeah.
About whether we should move to your country or not.
I do remember pictures whenever they were locking everyone down in Spain and those like very sexy military uniforms they have. So maybe we could...
Yeah.
Not that I'm like saying you should be in the military or the police or whatever, but like if we're going to have uniform people,
they should be nice looking Spanish people.
Exactly. Okay. What else?
That's pretty much it.
Is that it?
Well, I mean,
we got through it all. Let me look at my list.
What else did I mention?
I think that was all, apart from Kluckner I have written here, but I can't remember why.
Oh yeah, well we talked about her last week because of the pride flag thing.
Yeah, so Kluckner is, let me get this right, she's like the Speaker of the House for the Bundestag now. Yeah. And she's this very like quite glamorous looking platinum blonde CDU. Yes. Kind of.
She was once
weapon.
What?
A weapon in like Hiberno English is like a I don't know how to explain it. Like a...
In 1995, she was the German wine queen. Would you like to see a picture of her as the German wine?
No, fuck you. Why does she get to have a nice life and do cool stuff? She's mean.
She's from Rheinland-Pfalz, which is the home of...
Yeah.
Wine in Germany, or a lot of the wine, and she was once voted the German wine queen, which is a bit of a big deal. You have to do lots of stuff. You have to go to public appointments and meetings and stuff. Anyway, and she was agriculture minister under Angela Merkel, and then she became a little bit of populist in her tweets. You might remember before the election, she tweeted about how if you don't want to vote for the AFD, but you want to do everything the AFD does, then vote for the CDU. She actually took down that post and clarified
something
her
that
position.
sounded quite clever at the time. But then you're just like, wow, this is what passes for
Maybe she'd had
clever.
too much. It was like
Maybe she had too much wine as the wine queen.
But I think that there's a lot of, and also she criticised churches. Did we mention this last week?
No.
I'm just filling out the Kluckner story from last week, because we actually did talk about it last week. But there's also, she criticised the churches for getting involved in day-to-day politics too much and acting like an NGO, that's a quote, rather than focus on, quote, the basic questions of life and death. This is an interview she gave to the Bild am Sonntag in April. I mean, sure, she said, the church can express its opinion on the speed limit, but that's not necessarily why I pay church tax. This caused quite a lot of anger in Germany because the churches are quite outspoken about a lot of things.
And they're actually quite often relatively cool about stuff in a way that churches aren't from where I come from.
Yeah, the Catholic Archbishop of Paderborn, Udo Markus Benz, took exception to Kluckner's words, and I said, I will not allow anyone to muzzle me regardless of the issue. And she even got a rebuke from our old friend Armin Laschet.
Oh, still around?
Yeah, former leader of the CDU, former Chancellor candidate for the CDU, who said the church has always been political. Anyone who derives from the Christian message that one should change the world for the better, that one should shape the world, is always sending a political message. So, and then Kluckner also clarified her statement again and said I didn't really mean it. And she often says something that annoys a lot of people, and then she kind of clarifies it, and then she says,
which is fine if you're just working in an office or something. But if your job is literally Speaker of the House of Parliament, then you should be careful about what you fucking speak. Yeah,
because it is a position which is supposed to be very, neutral and very calm and sort of
maybe you're just not. It's not a job I could do.
No.
And as someone who runs, I regret opening my mouth and everything all the time. But I don't really say weird populist AFD adjacent shit. I just say what I really think, often when I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Often when I've had some wines. Maybe you should go back to being wine queen. I think that would be nice. Maybe that's a job I could do. Oh, it's like a beauty pageant, probably, is it?
Yeah. No, I don't think. I don't know what it is exactly. I can't. Ask me next time. I'll find out what the wine queen does.
God,
and I'll tell you about
do that section actually. I can also talk about the asparagus queen.
Yeah, there's all the different harvests have a queen, don't they?
Amazing. I've still got quite a lot of delicious wine.
If you go to the Grüne Woche in January, it's always in January, which is a big conference, Messe. It's also a public thing you can go to, and all the different regions of Germany are represented in their own pavilion.
Let's go on another trip like we went on Carnival der Kulturen.
And often when I've been there a couple of times, and you do see the various queens wandering around of various crops.
God, amazing!
And then they give you free stuff, and you get a little chat, and you get a little photo, and they're wearing folk dresses and all that kind of thing.
This is sort of what Germany should be doing, just that, and engineering, and then everything else, just have someone else handle it. Mind you, just who is doing their government correctly at the moment? No one.
No.
Yeah. Do we need to cover anything else? I feel like.
Well, I did have my little good news story.
Oh, yeah. Do we have any more other horrible news? No. Seems fine.
Yeah, we went on about Kluckner enough.
That's
over the
What's good news, Conrad?
The good news is that it's bathing season. And 98% of bathing facilities in Germany have got excellent water quality.
Woohoo.
According to a new study. I'm always going on about studies, aren't I?
You love a study. But this is good.
This is the Umweltbundesamt in Dessau brought out this study. As I said, that's the environmental federal agency. And it said that 98% of lakes, rivers, and coastlines fulfill the EU bathing water guidelines.
Well, that's nice, because everyone should be out enjoying the German lakes. It's one of the wonderful things about Berlin.
So have a swim, and you should be all right in 98% of cases.
It'll be fine. It'll be lovely. Lovely water. I went for a little swim in our lake this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, it was really... The water temperature is absolutely perfect at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly, like, if you're a wuss like me. It's just, like, a little bit refreshing, but not cold. Like, I didn't make a sound when I got in.
Oh, yeah. Lovely.
Yeah, it was really nice. Go to your lakes, everyone.
Are you going this weekend to your lake?
No, I'm not. That's why I was there last night, because I want to water all my garden and everything, because then I get very anxious.
Oh yeah, you got to water.
My lovely neighbour sometimes waters it for me a little bit, but I needed to set up the water thing. But it's not particularly... Maybe it is interesting garden chat, but yeah. What's your favourite lake? So we're on the Zeutenansee, which is further down the Dahme.
I don't. Do I have a favourite lake? I don't really ever go lake swimming. Not really a beach type person.
Nor am I, but I like being by a lake. I don't go to the
nice.
beach. That's weird. But lakes are somehow different.
Your lake's the last one I've been to. That was about 2 years ago.
Oh, Conrad, we're going to have to go on a field trip. Maybe we can...
I don't have a favourite lake. Schlachtensee is nice, I suppose.
You're just saying that because it's the only one that you know. No one's favourite lake is Schlachtensee. It's just convenient. Actually, Schlachtensee is nice.
Well, the only other one I know is Wannsee, and I didn't want to pick that because it's got other associations. That's not a good lake. It's been poisoned by history.
Yeah. Well, it is Germany.
Yeah.
Apparently it's clean now. It's fine. 98% absolved. All right. Oh, I still have a bit of wine.
Oh, good.
All right, everyone.
All right.
Have a lovely time. Take care of yourselves. Don't read too much news or look at it.
Yeah.
Keep listening.
Just rely on us to tell you about it in 2 weeks' time.
I feel like some German politicians were doing things and saying weird stuff, obviously, about Israel and Iran, but I don't even... You know what's been happening. Yeah. Fill in the blanks yourselves, guys.
Yeah. Great.
All right. Happy weekend or week or whatever. I don't know. It was grade deadline this week. I'm done. I'm on holiday mode. So you're going to get no sense out of me for like the next 3 weeks.
Well, happy holidays. Oh, yeah, because we're not recording.
Oh, we're going to be away.
We're going to be away. That's why we recorded another one this week.
Yeah. So you're going to...
Well, when are we going to be back?
Unclear, because we've done this brilliant thing where you go away and then as soon as you come back, I leave. But I think we have some overlap and we'll do like a summer episode.
Yes. Okay.
So look out for that, everyone. But also, maybe you can just have a little break from the news for a little while. It's, you know.
Go and enjoy some patatas bravas somewhere.
Oh my God, absolutely do. Absolutely do. Oh God, I'm going to go back to Spain. And pig's ears. I had a delicious pig's ear thing when I was in Madrid. Amazing. I think you have to go to very particular places though, because my friend who I was with then ordered it at a different time. And she said it was horrible, but the one we had was unbelievable.
There you go. So, holiday tips from Megan.
Cans of wine in the ears of pigs. Have fun, everyone. I'm sorry. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
The German news, it's quite a test. With Megan's Mega, you're feeling refreshed. Megan's Mega can. German news in English with a cocktail can. Deutsche Nachrichten sind düster und schwer. Down the Mega.
Defy the fear.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a positive message to give to people.
So.
I like to think that we have quite a positive impact on our listeners.
I hope so.
Because we try and get them to defy the fear of listening to the news all day.
I mean, it's better than reading a German newspaper, surely.
I would definitely recommend listening to our podcast more than reading any German newspaper.
German newspapers barely have pictures.
No.
Like fucking, it's just a brick of text.
Oh yeah, and they seem to make a virtue of it. They think it's like so great to have no text.
Not like you Americans
pictures.
with your fucking
Colour pictures.
decadent pictures in your newspapers.
Yeah,
What's that? A crossword puzzle? Oh, no wonder you had Trump. Jesus Christ, everyone! Like, there's a middle ground.
You have to concentrate on the news. It's very important. And you have to like keep it there.
Just have a mega.
Have a mega. Give us a picture every now and then.
Just a wee picture, maybe of,
yeah.
a diagram.